In this video, I'm gonna show you 7 things that you should always do when intermittent fasting. Listen, I'm a numbers guy. If you're watching this, then you already know that intermittent fasting is awesome. So now, it's all about stacking the odds to success to your favor by doing all the right things that go along with it. All right, let's dive in. What's going on, guys? Carlo Macapinlac here from newbiefitnessacademy.com. I help busy professionals lose weight so they can feel more confident and get the most out of their lives. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and hit the bell to get notified every time I post a new video every week. Okay, let's start with the low-hanging fruit that you can instantly fix right away, but quite possibly has one of the biggest impacts when it comes to your health and weight loss, in that you should always get adequate sleep when you're doing intermittent fasting. Listen, getting adequate sleep is part of your baseline when it comes to your lifestyle choices. If you don't get this part right, it's gonna be very hard for you to get results. And if you've been struggling to lose weight, even though you've been doing all the right things, this is why. Not getting enough sleep is one of the biggest reasons why people don't lose weight. Here's all you need to know about sleep. Lack of sleep has a direct correlation when it comes to weight gain, obesity, and heart disease. It's that important. What this means is that people who don't get adequate sleep tend to weigh more than those people who get adequate sleep. Sleep deprivation is so detrimental to your health that shift work is now considered carcinogenic. That's right, it could cause cancer. The problem is that people impose, some sort of shift work schedule on themselves. And this is a very common thing for a lot of people, right? You see people, they go out Friday, Saturday night, or they binge watch on Netflix, and they stay up until some ungodly hour. Here's a couple of crazy stats for you. People who sleep for 6 hours are 27% more likely to be overweight than those people who slept between 7 to 9 hours. If, however, you're a little bit more hardcore and you only get 5 hours of sleep every night, you are 73% more likely to be overweight. 73 freaking percent. And if that's not enough, sleep deprivation also messes up with your brain chemistry, your hormone regulation. It messes up your ghrelin levels, your hunger hormone, and makes you eat bigger portion sizes. Notice how you're always craving the worst food and you have zero willpower to avoid treats and snacks after a weekend bender? All you have to remember is this: the less you sleep, the more you weigh. Do not stack the odds against you by not getting adequate sleep at night. I have literally never met anybody who's ever complained about getting a full quality 8-hour sleep every night. Moving on, number 2, you should always eat a nice nutritious meal when you're intermittent fasting. And this is kind of a dead giveaway, but I always have to mention it on every video because it's that important. This will always be true no matter what kind of diet you want to follow or what kind of intermittent fasting schedule you want to follow. You need to eat properly. And that's the beauty of intermittent fasting, is that you can combine it with any diet. You can go paleo, low carb, you can go keto, you can go vegetarian, you can follow a vegan diet, or you can go carnivore. They all work with intermittent fasting, but there are obviously rules to this, right? Like, you can see that, you follow a vegan diet, but then you're eating a lot of vegan junk food. Like, that kind of defeats the purpose. Or you can go keto and eat a lot of keto desserts. If you eat too much of that, you're not gonna lose weight. Listen, you can't eat like an asshole just because you fasted. It doesn't entitle you to eat as if you were in a hot dog eating competition just because you fasted for 16 hours. Like, you can easily undo all the benefits of intermittent fasting by 1 or 2 meals. Intermittent fasting is a tool. It's not a silver bullet to weight loss. There are rules to eating. Mainly, you want to revolve your diet around plants and animals. You want to eat whole, mainly unprocessed foods. Vegetables are good for you, but if your goal is fat loss, you want to avoid the starchy kind, like peas, potatoes, carrots, squash, that kind of stuff. You want to eat a lot of cruciferous vegetables because they tend to be lower on calories and lower on carbs. You want to avoid foods that are high in anti-nutrients. And that's why I'm a big proponent of eating, do your best to eat grass-fed meat and pasture-raised eggs. And some people say that, oh my God, grass-fed beef is so much more expensive than grain-fed beef. I know, but here's the thing. We are over-proteinized as a society. Like, we tend to eat so much more protein than what our body actually needs. I want you to think less but better in terms of your meat consumption. And the other thing is that, so what if it's a little bit more expensive? Your health depends on it. You're absolutely worth it. Like, whatever money you save right now by eating cheap quality meat, you're gonna pay for it later on. When you get sick, you're buying all this medication because you're too cheap to invest in yourself right now. You know what I mean? Now, on the other side of the rules when it comes to eating a nice nutritious meal are things you want to avoid. And it's the usual suspects, right? Like you want to avoid processed carbs, refined carbs, added sugar, artificial sweeteners. If your goal is fat loss, you want to limit your fruit intake. And I always get a lot of comments every time I say that, you should avoid fruit. So let's talk about a couple of consequences, okay? If your baseline is you eat McDonald's for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then in between you eat chips, cookies, candy, chocolate, and whatnot, if you replace some of those foods with fruit, then yeah, fruit is good for you. But honestly, that only gets you closer to the baseline, right? That only moves the needle a little bit. But if you really want to get results, if you want to lose a lot of body fat, you want to limit fruit. Here's the thing, our ancestors back in the Paleolithic times ate fruit seasonally. It wasn't available 365 days out of the year. And they mostly ate fruit to fatten up for the winter. The problem is, fruit is available to us 365 days out of the year. You eat it, you gain weight. And based on my personal experience and all the results of my students, the less fruit you eat, the more weight you're gonna lose. You just have to follow this one rule. What you stop eating has far more impact on your health than what you start eating. Stop eating so much junk. Number 3, you should always follow a fasting protocol that is 16 hours or more. This is worth mentioning because sometimes I talk to people and they say, Carlo, I started doing intermittent fasting. I did a 12-hour fast. I'm like, okay, cool. That doesn't really do anything. What I mean by that is doing a 12-hour fast and a 12-hour eating window is your baseline. The benefits of fasting actually doesn't start until the 16-hour mark, which means that your bare minimum is 16 hours if you want any results from intermittent fasting. And I always get this too. Oh my God, I get so hungry. Yeah, no kidding. You've trained your body to eat a certain way, like for most of your life. Obviously, you're gonna get hungry when you fast, but you'll get used to it. Like we as a society are so afraid. We're so afraid to feel hungry. We're so addicted to food. We live in such an interesting time these days where there are more overweight people than hungry people. We don't have a hunger problem. We have an obesity problem. So again, a 16-hour fast is your bare minimum. Number 4, always schedule your fast around your life, not the other way around. Intermittent fasting is not a diet, okay? It's a lifestyle, which means that it's something that you want to do for the rest of your life, as long as you want to stay healthy. I'm gonna put things in perspective for you because sometimes I talk to my coaching clients and they say, Carlo, I wasn't able to do my 24-hour fast, I failed. They'll say, I only made it to 20 or 22 hours. Cool, you didn't do a 24-hour fast, but guess what? You still did so much good because you still did a 20-hour fast or a 22-hour fast. Like, that's awesome. What I don't want you to do is I don't want fasting to be this all-consuming thing in your life that you feel deprived to do anything because you're fasting. You know what I mean? Like, don't schedule your fast when you're going to a wedding. And I always say that there is a time to feast and there's a time to fast. Fasting balances feasting. Like, nobody likes the guy who says no to a cake when they're at a wedding because they're fasting. Like, if you ever feel deprived because you can't enjoy yourself in, special occasions because you're fasting, you're doing it wrong. Like, one of the best benefits of fasting is its flexibility, right? Use it to your advantage. Make sure you're always scheduling your fast around your life and not the other way around. Number 5, you always want to complement fasting with exercise. Exercise is great. I love exercise. I love working out. Actually, I like to train. It's kind of like brushing your teeth. You should do some form of it every day. Like if you do cardio, then it improves your cardiovascular health. Your heart becomes stronger. It's able to pump more blood throughout your body. If you do resistance training, if you lift weights, or if you do bodyweight movements, then you're building muscle. And that's one of the biggest points that I'm trying to make is that one of the best things that you can do for your overall health and fitness is to be as physically strong as humanly possible. Now, I'm not saying that you should look like the Incredible Hulk, but building a lot of lean muscle mass in your body has a lot of physiological benefits in your body. One of them being building muscle and retaining muscle by working out is one of the best things when it comes to keeping your metabolic rate as high as possible. And one of the best markers of long-term health and lifespan is how much lean muscle mass you have in your body. So it's not always just about, having muscles and looking good shirtless, although that's always a nice bonus. Like, it's good for you to be strong and build muscle. So let's talk about it real quick, and I'll give you a couple of scenarios why that is. Like, when you're physically strong, you're just a way better functional human being. You can carry your groceries, you can play with your kids without throwing your back, you can outrun a potentially dangerous situation, you can pull yourself out of a burning building, you can climb a tree to save a kitten, all sorts of good stuff. Now, I want you to think about elderly people. They're not as active, their bones aren't as strong anymore because they don't work out, they don't have a lot of lean muscle mass, they fall and they break a bone right away. That's why you want to avoid being sedentary for long periods of time, right? Like, we are not sedentary beings. We evolved to move. All you have to remember is this: fasting is for fat loss, working out is for building muscle. They work hand in hand. They complement each other like peanut butter and jelly. Number 6, you should always stay well hydrated by adding sea salt to your water. This is another obvious thing, but it's always worth mentioning because sometimes I forget to drink water myself. Your body is made up of 60% water. And usually this is not a problem when you're doing a 16-hour fast. I'm talking about dehydration, but when you do a 24-hour fast or longer, some people tend to get headaches. And the reason for this is that when you do a fast, your body gets rid of a lot of excess water. That's a good thing, but that also means that you lose some electrolytes in your body, and it causes some people to have headaches. A simple fix for this is just add a pinch of Himalayan sea salt to your water to replenish some of those electrolytes. Again, this is really important when you do a 24-hour fast or longer. And last but not the least, you should always experiment with different intermittent fasting schedules. Like I mentioned earlier, that the bare minimum is a 16-hour fast, but don't think that you should be stuck doing that forever. Remember, the longer you go, the better. What I mean by that is it's good to throw in a 20-hour fast, a 24-hour fast, a 48-hour fast every once in a while. And this is especially true if you have a lot of weight to lose. You gotta remember that body fat is stored energy. It's not just there for looks. It's stored energy waiting to be used. And that's why intermittent fasting is so powerful, because you're then able to tap into your fat stores for energy. Like, you're not gonna die if you do a 48-hour fast, for example, if you've never done one before. It's okay to go to bed without eating dinner, without eating all day. You're not gonna die. Like, your body is super smart. It knows what to do. And this is how we evolved. Again, I'm a big fan of evolution and always trying to pattern how we evolved, because we evolved as human beings 2.5 million years ago. We haven't evolved since. In fact, our brains have gotten smaller since the start of modern agriculture, but that's another topic for another video. What I'm trying to say is that fasting has been around since the beginning of time. And back then, it wasn't really by choice, right? Like, when our ancestors couldn't catch animals for like a day or two, they were forced to fast. And they were fine. They were still physically strong. They didn't become weak. They were all naturally lean. So don't be afraid to do the same. Like, don't be afraid to do a longer fast. In fact, there's a lot of research out there that a yearly 7-day fast is great when it comes to cancer prevention, because you're triggering autophagy in your body, right? Your body gets to get rid of old damaged cells, and that could possibly include cancer cells. Again, it's all about stacking the odds in your favor so you can be successful with this. And if you follow all 7 things that I just mentioned in this video, it's not a matter of if, it's only a matter of when. The next question then becomes, how are you actually supposed to eat if you want to lose weight? Because let's be honest, 80% of your body composition is determined by your diet. You can't just freestyle this part. Do you have a proven plan that you can follow? To help you with that, I want to give you a free copy of my Lean Body Blueprint. This is how I melted all the fat around my stomach and turned it into a 6-pack without going on a crazy diet or wasting hours at the gym. It's a simple 4-step process specifically designed for busy professionals, and it's the exact same blueprint that I teach all my private coaching clients, and they've all gone to see some amazing results. If you want to be the next success story, then download your free copy of the Lean Body Blueprint right now. There's going to be a link somewhere at the top here. Just click on it, type in your email, and I'll send it to you right away. All right, that's all I've got. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it and share it with your friends. Please subscribe to my channel. I post a new video every week. And hey, leave me a comment below if you have any questions about this video. All right, thanks for watching. Virtual high five.